glue. That definitely scraped it. Hopefully I can wipe that off. Riley, we're gonna play some baseball, okay? This is our first baseball stop. This is our first Texas baseball stop. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Dang it, Liz. What did you do?
Holy moly. This is ridiculous.
Oh. What's up, everybody? I guess we just accidentally went live without me pressing it. So, we are live at the Grassy Knoll. And we are here in Dallas. And we're going to be taking you on a tour of where something...
Put it, Chris.
It is in here. It's probably most likely up front. Guys, I know this isn't very riveting right now. This is the back of our truck. I'm gonna hand this to Liz while I look. Why don't you explain to everybody where we're at?
So this is the Red Museum.
Riley.
Dallas County Criminal Courthouse. I don't know all the ins and outs of where the snipers were at, but we definitely don't buy the official story, now do we? So we could have taken a tour starting here, I think, where a lot of people from FEIC did this morning, but we opted not to. We didn't want to hear the garbage that they were going to spew. All right, we're gonna walk so while we still have a little bit of daylight. You ready, guys? Chris. The kiddos fell asleep on the way here, so hopefully they're not gonna be super cranky. I tell you what, Texas drivers getting here are super crazy and aggressive. Yes, I definitely have issues with drivers. Look at that. There it is.
Look what somebody left.
All right, here you go, Chris. It was the old Red Museum.
And so look, you can actually take the free scooter over there. Scan to ride. But we don't have that app. If we had it, that would actually be pretty cool. So next time, come here, download the Line app, and you have to download the Line app. So that's pretty cool.
You don't download.
Where's Tony at?
They're coming.
All right, let's go. Yeah, Joe. We missed you all the time at the conference. It was quite crazy. Time we tried to hook up for lunch, or like, all right, let's do this, and then it never happened. But we'll make it happen. Take on the World 20.
Joe, how was the tour that you went on this morning? Give us the lowdown.
Yes, wash our hands first if we took those scooters around, no doubt.
This is quite a city, I'll tell you. Oh, let's go.
All right. So we're actually gonna do something pretty cool. We're gonna show you guys around. I'm sure the tour is extremely interesting. Rather, this says on November 22nd, 1963, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, visited Dallas. A presidential parade traveled north on Houston Street to Elm Street and west on Elm Street. As the parade continued on Elm Street at 12:30 p.m., rifle shots wounded the president and Texas Governor John Connally. Findings of the Warren Commission indicated that the rifle shots were fired from a sixth-floor window near the southeast corner of the Texas School Book Depository building, Elm, Houston, a block north of this marker. President Kennedy expired at Parkland Memorial Hospital at 1 p.m. Let's keep moving, guys. So obviously, this is the beginning of the conspiracies of all conspiracies, which led us to FEIC 19, because these types of things actually let us know something is not right.
The second window down on the far right hand side, the square window with the white box in it, is where Oswald
Is that really what you think happened?
Well, there was a white man with a rifle up there. Now, I believe it was Oswald. Other people believe it could have been somebody else. When you come over here, you can see the two X's in the street. There's actually two X's in the street. See one right there?
Yep.
Then down the hill, about where those people are walking, is going to be another X. That first X is where Kennedy and Connally were shot. The second X is President Kennedy being fatally shot. Now, the conspiracy behind this thing is the government tried to tell us it was Oswald acting alone from up there. The evidence shows there was another shooter from back behind the picket fence, the Grassy Knoll.
Right.
Now, the evidence mainly is the Zapruder film. Do you guys know who Abraham Zapruder was? The guy that took the famous film. If you've seen the Kennedy assassination, you've seen the Zapruder film. Well, Abraham Zapruder happened to work in the darker red building right there. When he came to work the morning of the assassination, it was raining, so he left his camera at home. The Kennedys flying from Fort Worth and the sun comes out. When the sun comes up, Zapruder's secretary tells him, Abraham, a president does not drive by your office every day. He goes home and gets a less beat up version of this at the time, an over $300 color Bell & Howell motion picture camera. Only 30% of the American public had color TVs back then. And Zapruder comes and stands on top of the pedestal right there at the end of the steps. At the end of the steps. He was in a perfect position to capture that. See the pedestal at the end of the steps?
Yeah.
That's where Zapruder was. Now, at the airport, President Kennedy, you got a phone? Bring your light out. My phone's dead, or I bring my flashlight out. At the airport, President Kennedy has him take the protective bubble top off the car. There you go. And he also waved the Secret Service agents off the back of the car. He wants to be seen by the people. He just rolls the dice, even though he was warned not to have the open motorcade in Dallas. Look how close you get to the president back then.
Wow.
There were over 200,000 people on the street. The crowds were so big and so enthusiastic that Nellie Connally, the governor's wife, tells President Kennedy, you sure can't say Dallas doesn't love you. And Kennedy's last words were, this is very obvious. The car takes a right here on Houston, comes down this way, takes the left here on Elm Street. Now this first X right behind me, that is where President Kennedy and Governor Connally were both shot. That is also, according to the Warren Commission, the single, the magic, or the pristine bullet. By the way, that's what the building looked like back in 1963. There's no more big lighted clock on top of the building, and the trees are grown up. Pretty much this is the identical way it was back in 1963. So the government tried to tell us that a bullet has gone through the president into the governor, breaks the governor's rib, shatters his wrist into his leg. It's magical, it can do that. And then the bullet they put into evidence is completely intact and near pristine condition. I'm not a ballistics expert. That's a little hard to swallow. Now, even though Kennedy and Conley were shot right there where that first X is, there was no evasive or protective action taken. If anything, the driver of the car slows down, because it takes 7 to 9 seconds to get from the first X to the second X, which is down about where that blue truck is right there. Kennedy goes like this. He's then listing over towards Jackie. He's got a back brace on, so he can't bend forward or backwards. And right in front of Zapruder in frame 313, you see Kennedy's head snap violently back and to the left. It comes back this way. That tells me the shot came from the front. Officer Hargis, the guy on his motorcycle right here, he gets blood and brains in his face. That tells me the shot came from the front. Then Mrs. Kennedy is seen crawling onto the trunk of the car.
Right.
She's actually picking up part of her husband's head off the back of the car. She does not remember doing that. Finally, Clint Hill, her personal agent, has run up to the car, covers the president and Mrs. Kennedy up, and they hit the freeway. 2.5 miles down the freeway is a place called the Trade Mart, where there were 2,300 people waiting on Kennedy to deliver a speech. The very next exit up is Parkland Hospital. So they go flying past the Trade Mart on the way to Parkland Hospital. So they rush on to Parkland Hospital. Zapruder knows he's got the Kennedy assassination on film, so he jumps off the pedestal, then hides the camera from and avoids the man that's confiscating people's cameras, and he gets back to his office. That was a really good move on Zapruder's part, because the man confiscating cameras claimed to be a Secret Service agent. He was not. He was an imposter.
Right.
So right off the bat, we got some conspiracy cover-up stuff going on.
Right.
By the way, Zapruder calls his wife up, says the president's dead. I got it on film. He then informs his wife there was no way anybody would survive the catastrophic end wound he witnessed through his viewfinder. So Abraham Zapruder is literally the first civilian to realize President Kennedy was dead. Well, not only was Zapruder able to walk away, dozens of people just walked away, including Lee Harvey Oswald right out the front door of the school book depository. Now, Oswald had been seen carrying this big brown paper bag into work with him that day. When asked what was in the bag, Oswald said it was curtain rods. That's how he explained carrying the rifle into work with him. He leaves the rifle by the stairwells. He leaves 3 shells in a bag by the window. Walks out of the store, walks down to the second floor break room, questioned by a DPD officer, but his manager says that's Oswald, he works here. Plus Oswald was calm, cool, and collected. Oswald walked out the door, got in a bus and a taxi cab, goes about 3 miles this way back to his boarding house, and he picks up a handgun. As he's walking out of the boarding house, the landlady even asked, "Did you hear about the president being shot?" Oswald's now become suspect number 1 in the shooting of the president, because we got eyewitness accounts to a white man with a rifle up there. They find the rifle that shells the bag, and Oswald's missing from the building. So they put an all-points bulletin on Oswald. 45 minutes after Kennedy was shot, Lee Harvey Oswald was approached by Officer Tippett. Officer Tippett gets out of his patrol car, comes around the front of the car, and Oswald shoots him dead in the street. Oswald then goes and hides inside the Texas Theater. What actually gets Oswald hemmed up is he failed to pay the 90 cents to get into the movie. And the shoe salesman watched him do this, tells the cashier at the police. Oswald fought like an animal. He's cuffed up. They realize they got the same man they're looking for in the shooting of the president. That word leaks out. The crowd outside the theater starts yelling, kill him now. So they take Oswald to the other side of downtown, the Dallas Police headquarters, and at that time they think they've got the Kennedy assassination solved. They're calling Bobby Kennedy up. We got the man that shot your brother down here in Texas. Well, back at Parkland Hospital, Governor Conley spent 4 hours in surgery and recovers. Mrs. Kennedy will not let her husband go to ruin chances. She says, "I don't want them to see the president like this." Not until a Secret Service agent takes the jacket off, puts it over the president's head, she finally releases him. If it was any of us, it would have been DOH straight to the morgue, but they wheeled Kennedy into trauma room number 1. It's the president. Multiple doctors attend to the president. At 12:55, Father Huber gives our only Catholic president his last rites. Then at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, he was officially pronounced dead. He was shot exactly at 12:30. They then load up a casket. The Secret Service are then stopped by Dr. Rose, the coroner, for moving Kennedy's body. Dr. Rose says, "That's my body. I'm doing the autopsy." In 1963, it was not a federal crime to kill the president, so that makes them a Dallas County. This makes this a Dallas County murder by Texas law. The body is supposed to stay here. Well, after about a 10-minute shouting match, the Secret Service pulled the only jurisdictions they needed out of their holsters. So get your GD asses out of the way, we're taking the body now.
No.
They literally commandeered this guy's ambulance and they rushed to Love Field. Now, the only time Jackie left her husband's side was to come to the front of the aircraft while LBJ was being sworn into office. That is on Air Force One here in Dallas. 99 minutes after President Kennedy was pronounced dead. With Jackie still in her pink Chanel outfit. Jackie was brought clean clothes, but she says, I want them to see what they did to my husband. So she wore that outfit all the way back to Washington, covered in blood.
Wow.
That outfit's now in the National Archives, but at her request not to be viewed for 100 years. So another 44 more years next week, and that'll be the anniversary. So within 5 minutes of the swearing in, their wheels up, they fly to Washington. All sorts of issues with the autopsy Friday night at Bethesda. On Saturday, Kennedy's body was in the White House. Then on Sunday, they moved it to the Rotunda at Capitol Hill, the big dome building. The line of people on Sunday got up to 3 miles long. 250,000 people passed by President Kennedy's casket on Sunday. Well, back here in Dallas, the whole weekend, Lee Harvey Oswald said, I did not shoot you, I'm just a patsy. Oswald was even asked if he owned a rifle and a handgun. He denies that. They pulled his picture out. He's got the rifle and the handgun on him in the picture. Well, Oswald was being transferred on Sunday morning from the other side of downtown to that building right there that used to be the county jail. Oswald never makes it there because at 11:20 a.m. Sunday morning, a local mob affiliate, a guy by the name of Jack Ruby, steps up and shoots Lee Harvey Oswald. That was the very first live murder ever shown in the history of television. Oswald's actually handcuffed to the guy in the tan suit. That's Detective Jim Lavelle. Jim Lavelle just died last month. He was 99 years old when he died. That man happened to be at Pearl Harbor, too, in the Japanese attack. So Kenny and Oswald are dead. Now we got to bury them both. Marguerite, Oswald's mother, goes to bury Oswald the next day. They want to use Kennedy's funeral that's planned on Monday as cover. Several graveyards refused Oswald's body. 4 people showed up to the Rose Hill Cemetery in Fort Worth. The press had to serve as pallbearers. Now, Kennedy's funeral is that same day in Washington, D.C. Jackie has him buried at Arlington National Cemetery with the eternal flame. Jackie's buried next to him now. And, of course, you guys have seen that famous picture of John Jr. saluting.
Yeah.
That happened to be his birthday. One of the last things President Kennedy told John Jr. was, don't worry, son, I'll be home for your birthday. Well, he was. Unfortunately, he was in a box. So now we got Kenny and Oswald buried. Now we got to deal with Jack Ruby, the man who shot Oswald. Well, Jack Ruby's from Chicago. He's got known mob ties with the outfit out of Chicago, the Giacomo family, the big mobsters back then. Well, while in custody in that building right there, Jack Ruby feared for his life. That used to be the county jail. Oswald requested for witness protection. He says, get me to Washington, I can tell you the truth. Well, he was denied witness protection, and Ruby came up for trial in the Cass-looking building. He can't tell the truth, which is I work with the mob, so he claims he shot Oswald to be a hero. He also said he wanted to prove to the people that Jews have guts. Rubenstein was his full last name. Well, Jacob Leon Rubenstein's original conviction and death sentence were overturned on an appeal, and while waiting on a second trial in January of 1967, Jack Ruby died of cancer. He's still in custody right there. Well, Jack Ruby leaves a deathbed letter confession that says, my motive for killing Oswald was to silence him. So with Jack Ruby's known mob ties, the fact that the mob rigged the '60 election to get Kennedy into office, now the Kennedy administration has double-crossed the mob, they're going after him. Bobby Kennedy, the Attorney General. Don't ever double-cross the mob, guys. Bad things happen. And then the embargo on Cuba. That cost the mob about $1 million a month in hotel casino money. So between the embargo and the double cross, you can throw Marilyn Monroe and Frank Sinatra in the periphery of this thing if you want. Let's just say the mob's not real happy with Kennedy. Enough so that I believe, and this is the most considered of the conspiracy theories, is Ruby's working with the mob. He's the local guy. He brings in Oswald as a decoy, a patsy, a fall guy. I believe it's a mob hitman from behind the picket fence that kills the president. I believe the mob, the CIA, and LBJ all their hands in this thing. There's bad blood between Kennedy and the CIA over the Bad Pigs operation. LBJ's got like a dozen motives. He wants to be president. he escalates Vietnam. Kennedy was going to pull out of Vietnam. LBJ's family owned about half a Bell helicopter. LBJ got rich off the Vietnam War. So LBJ had his hand in this thing, at least on the very minimum, had prior knowledge of this.
For sure.
10 months later, the Warren report came out saying it was Lee Harvey Oswald acting alone, 3 shots up there, that's it, cut and dry. And the earth's flat and cigarettes don't cause cancer, right?
Wow.
Well, that's for about a decade, 70-75% of the American public believed Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. And up until 1975, that's where we stood. Because what happened was the Zapruder film, which was purchased by Time Life magazine from Zapruder the weekend of the assassination for over $150,000, which is $1 million in today's money. Time Life thought the footage was too graphic to show, so we only saw individual frames of it in Time Life magazine. And not until March of 1975, on none other than Geraldo Rivera's Goodnight America, does a stolen bootleg version of the Zapruder film finally show up. And in 1975, the general public sees the Zapruder film, Kennedy's head going backwards, all the blood and brains going backwards. They then realized the Warren Commission's findings were wrong. There's no way a shot from behind made that happen. So at the outcry of the public, they reopened the investigation with a group called the House Select Committee on the Assassinations. And in 1978, after 3 years of studying this thing, the HSCA said there was a 95% probability that Kennedy was killed in a conspiracy with a cover-up. At least 2 shooters, at least 4 shots, and that fatal shot did come from behind the picket fence. So that's where we stand today, but they don't name any names of groups in those findings.
Now, have you ever researched MK Ultra?
MK Ultra, now what's that?
So MK Ultra is
Mind control. Monarch.
yeah, it's basically monarch mind control
Okay.
that a lot of people believe J. Harvey Oswald was a part of.
Yeah,
because it's
and
all
Sirhan too.
yes, it
Yeah.
all deals with taking somebody and splitting them, having them basically be 2 persons in one.
Okay.
And that's how he was able to be under mind control. The
Yeah.
gentleman that he killed was his handler.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was basically a different person under control by them as a patsy.
Yeah.
Which is a
complete patsy.
MK Ultra.
MK
it is
Ultra
it's a
is
proven.
proven.
Yeah,
it's a
and
proven.
that's what I think
Yeah.
it's where Sirhan comes into play, because Sirhan doesn't remember doing any of that and everything like that. And so
Exactly.
you can get deep in the conspiracy aspect of it, and you get into mind control, you get into switching bodies and all sorts of different convoluted, different clandestine meetings and everything like that. So it gets really kind of crazy.
Well, you know, our government hides a lot from us.
Yeah.
A lot.
And the American public was very naive back then. They're a little more...
Absolutely. But, you know, we are definitely coming into truth today.
Yeah.
Truth on so many different
Yeah.
levels. JFK, 9/11, you know, it's a pivotal point in history that a lot of people can see behind the curtain.
Yeah.
You know, and can see the greater picture. You know, you mentioned something, and I want to give this to you because this is ultimately the biggest part that our government tries to hide from us. And it's funny that you mention it because I was already thinking of giving this to you. But this is going to tell you the
This
reason
is over here, flats, man.
why you're here,
Okay.
the greater purpose of all of this, and that is
All right.
the Bible.
All right, gotcha. Thank you.
And I want you to read that. We listened to your amazing speech.
And I
You
do
had
work-
detailed information.
And I do work on tips, so you guys help me out.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
We do
absolutely.
$10 a person since you film me. You go $20. It's much more. You book me through a hotel, but
Sure.
I will look into that.
Yes.
I come from a very religious family, so
Well, and so you know that there's a creator in all of this.
Yeah.
And he is not, you know, far, far away. He is very close. And he loves you. And he has a purpose for you, for all of us. And so please do read that
I will.
because I think you'll be able to
clean it up.
understand a lot. It'll make sense. You can add more.
Yeah, actually, the international conference for the flat Earth actually just happened here in Dallas.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about it.
Yeah, I just saw them protesting. Or not protesting, but
Yeah, they were doing some things over there.
yeah.
Yes, I heard. So what did you? You didn't run into that group?
no,
did
I
they?
didn't really talk to them very much. or
Did they
anything.
try to talk to you?
No, not really. I was kind of.
So
avoided them.
there's some polite ones. There's not so
Yeah,
polite ones.
yeah.
So.
We're
You-
the polite ones.
Yes, we're the polite.
We're the good ones.
Yeah. So thanks for
Yeah, thank you,
for
thank you,
thanks for
thank you,
doing
guys,
that.
thank you.
Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
And we
God
can,
bless you.
if no cars, we can get onto the road. Correct.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you
And
so
the lights will change. You can just walk across the street whenever the light changes. And the Kennedy Memorial is back behind the castle building.
Okay.
So you guys go check that out.
All right.
Thanks again, guys.
Definitely take a look.
I will.
Pray
I
about
will.
that. Take a look into that. All right, guys, let's keep walking. We're going to keep moving. Hey, Tony. All right, guys, we're going to take a walk across the street, see if we can actually get into the street.
I want to sit.
Although he wanted $20 because we recorded that. That guy was a little bogus.
I gave him 30.
$30. Wow, Liz was generous.
I was very generous.
She's dropping all my hard-earned money.
That's because I wanted him to really look at our brochure. Thank you, Nathan Thompson.
There you go. Liz was flat smacking this guy.
I was flat loving. That's what I was doing. I wasn't smacking.
Okay, so here are the stars of the
Sure you
flat
use the
smacking remix.
backhand?
Hold on, here are the stars of the
Baby powder.
E, sleep.
Debunk the globe, repeat. E. Sleep. Debunk the globe, repeat.
It's your boy Calico.
What's up? Hi guys, this is your boy Calico.
You gotta keep doing it.
Oh, top of the morning, it's your boy Calico.
Keep going.
I'm out here flat smacking, but in fact, they don't hear me though. Probably for the same reason Jesus spoke in parables. Sign language don't work when you're blind and you're hearing still. Hold on, I gotta switch my lens.
What's this say? What's this say? Earth is what? You guys hear the earth is flat? Somebody had wrote the earth is flat over there. Somebody said the earth is flat. You guys have ever heard that before?
Yeah.
You guys heard the earth is flat?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Round.
What? Round?
Round.
Why?
Looks round in the pictures.
Why you think people... Did you know that those pictures... So I did a little research into that. And those pictures are all composite images. None of them are actually real. Based on my...
Where'd you come from?
Where'd I come from? I was over there filming the JFK stuff, and then I just saw this flat earth stuff over here.
Did you just
But
see
I-
that? Born and raised.
Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah.
What's your name?
Chris.
Chris what?
Bailey.
Okay, Chris Bailey.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. But no, that's actually what NASA says. So I was actually digging in, and the NASA websites even say underneath every picture, these are composite images.
Okay.
Every single one of ours. So check that out. Go to those
I remember
websites.
that.
Yeah, look that up. Go check that out. Go to those websites.
This way.
Yeah. And did you know that you guys believe in the Bible?
No, atheist.
Atheist? Really?
The Bible what?
No.
The Bible.
Yeah, what about it?
Did you know that the Bible says the earth is not a globe? That was,
It's fixed and immovable. That's what the Bible says.
yeah.
It's fixed and immovable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember you. Chris.
200 verses that say that the
What's your
Bible.
name?
Anthony Stover.
This is Tony.
Hi, Anthony. I
Yeah.
have an Anthony, so I remember you.
All right.
Anthony on the stove.
Yes.
Yep. Come from a long line of stove makers, I guess.
Nice.
Are you guys from Texas?
No.
From Kentucky? Is this the first time checking out the Grassy Knoll?
No.
No? Not you?
Not mine.
Not.
This y'all's first time?
Yeah, we don't. I mean,
What else on the
Y'all from Texas?
we're from Ohio,
Oh,
so we've got the same weather.
yeah.
We're just like a couple states over.
Yeah.
So we're
yeah. That's
yeah.
where
Well,
the
really,
first
one
shot.
state over. I mean, how close are you guys to Cincinnati?
Close.
Close? Yeah, we're Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're Cleveland, Ohio. So guys, let's jump out of here if we can in the streets. This was the first shot right here. Let me see if I can actually run over. And I don't think I can. I'm gonna get hit by a car. And I'm gonna try to get out there for the second X, so you guys can see how far the second X is. Give me a couple pictures. So here's the second X. And this is the Grassy Knoll up here, guys.
And where's that manhole right there.
There are a lot of flat earthers out here today.
Oh, the building we were in.
Where's the grassy knoll?
This right here. This is the grass. This right here.
Oh, okay. I thought it was on the other side.
So they rebuilt that. That used to have that fence that two of the shooters were behind.
Were they behind
There were-
this one too? They shot from there too, didn't they?
Yeah, that's what he was.
I thought it was all here, but the fence
The
looked more
shooters
like
that
that.
killed Kennedy, the shooters.
There were actually 9 snipers. If you really dig deep
They
into
said it was
it,
quite a few.
there were nine
said it was quite a few.
snipers.
After him.
And one of them
They even
killed.
say the CIA accidentally shot him too.
Oh, it's a total, the government wanted to take him down. He was going to expose the secret society. So they didn't want that. They didn't want that.
You weren't the one writing all the flat Earth stuff here, were you?
No.
Was there a flat Earth group here?
Yeah, they demonstrated for about an hour. I'm Kennedy Assassination.
Oh, okay. So what'd you think of all the flat Earth stuff?
Well, I believe that the Earth is round,
You-
personally.
Do you believe that the government had any involvement in the Kennedy assassination?
I think there were some renegade members of the CIA that were involved. Now, the CIA has thousands of people that work for it that are solid citizens just doing their jobs. So many thousands of people, the law of averages are going to tell you that some of them are going to be bad guys. We believe the mafia provided the shooters at the bottom level, and the CIA has used the mafia since the World War II invasion system. And all through the years,
So when did you officially start to reject like the official story of everything?
when I saw Ruby shoot Oswald on TV,
How old were you when Kennedy was assassinated?
I was in my high school sophomore English class. They let us out of school, and I watched the funeral, and I saw Ruby shoot Oswald on TV, and I knew this is very strange. So I started reading about it, everything I could find. I started writing letters to the guys who wrote the articles. When I got out of high school, I went to the University of Houston to study history. This is my specialty. And I moved to Dallas in May of 1993 because I consider this place my laboratory. And I've been out here for the last 26 years
Oh wow,
telling the story.
nice.
History
Nice.
major can't find a real job, so I made one.
Well, hey, thank you for sharing that. So thank you.
I have some of my DVDs left if y'all are interested. The Warren Commission classified all these films, and so we got together with their lawyers and fought it out with them, and I got a DVD.
Hey Liz, how much do you have left? He has some pretty interesting DVDs available.
Yeah.
So
How much-
Wasn't it Pastor
My
John
DVD is
who
10.
we spoke to also
And it has a
shredded-
Zapruder film. We've enhanced the frames. Our version is sharper and clearer than the original negatives. The first high-definition version. I got all the films along the motorcade route. There are 122 of those, and we have a complete collection. Interviews with the doctors, the politicians, the FBI. We interviewed Jack Ruby, who shot Oswald. And our stuff is unique. The museum doesn't have our stuff. The internet doesn't have it. The TV news documentary guys don't have our stuff. So it's a pretty good collection.
So how much is the DVDs?
It's 10.
10?
Do you also have books? Have you ever had books out here for sale?
Well, a long time ago I did, but I find that I can put the books on a digital DVD, and I can squeeze a big book into a small space that way.
Sure. Do you by chance know of a pastor? Is his first name John, who we spoke to? Pastor John, who's the pastor of a church not far from here in this area? We met somebody, and he said, "Oh, my good friend," and I thought he said Don is probably out there selling books. Are you out here a lot?
Yeah, there I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been out here for 26 years.
You have to know him. I wish you knew his last name, Chris.
Probably do, maybe by his face. You know.
He's a shorter goatee.
I'm not sure. I mean,
I
thousands
know.
of people.
We're describing a lot of people.
Yeah.
He's a Baptist pastor.
He could have come out here and just not mentioned that.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe talk to at least 100 people a day.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Over 26 years, that comes out to a lot of people. Well, thank you very much.
You bet.
Just what second I like.
It's so crazy to like be in the spots that the things we talk
feelings are
about
you
all
feeling,
the time.
Amber?
It just doesn't seem real. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Like, because when you hear stories and then find out the truth, you're just like, what? Another lie? It's just like never ending. Never ending.
Well, this is probably the greatest of all murder mysteries.
Yeah.
And we still get 3 million people out here a day. But
A
the
day.
evidence.
A day.
Oh, I'm sorry, a year.
Okay, I was like,
Yeah.
Oh.
dang, you busy.
I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
Old codger like me.
26 years, I bet.
Yeah. We believe that the evidence shows that Oswald was not the shooter.
Yeah.
That there was a shooter at the Grassy Knoll in the Dowtex building. And when he shot in the head in the Zapruder film, I got it all tacked up. But you see the cloud of blood, and half a second later, he's whirled around back against the seat of the car with his head wide open. Now, Jacqueline is still looking at where he was before he was shot. He moved so suddenly, her eyes couldn't follow the movement. So that means the shot came from the front, from behind the picket fence. To kick him back like that, I mean, in a half a
The picket
second.
fence right over there. Okay. I was thinking it
And you
was
see how
over
the
here.
fence goes north to south and turns west, 8 feet west of that corner turn.
That's not the original picket fence.
No, the pickets have been replaced 17 times. People take them as souvenirs.
Oh.
In fact, I've seen people run their cars into the fence to break it into pieces so they can take a piece. And if you go behind the fence, the city set up a steel chain link fence 4 inches away from the wooden fence to protect it, so they won't do that anymore. But none of the original pickets are lead. You can tell because the originals had a half-moon design and they were twice as thick as these flat ones. And they were a little more curved at the top and about 1.5 inches shorter than these are. And it's interesting that the city replaced the last time they were going to replace all of the pickets.
You guys, I'm gonna walk up here. I'm gonna get some footage before we can, before it gets too dark out here. I know you guys aren't able to see very much, but we are standing on the grassy knoll right now. See, this is what happens. You know, look at this. What a godsend right here. Did you know that the earth is flat? I just found this. Somebody dropped it. They did not want this. Let me go pick all these up because I'm gonna go hand them out. There you go, Nathan Thompson. I'm doing your work over here for you. People, there we go. Here we go. I've got it. All right, let's go see if we can hand somebody some of these things. So let's go over. Here's the pickets fence. Actually gonna go out in that field over there and see if we can play a little baseball with my son and have him remember that forever. So there is the where the picket fence would have been, but it would have gone all the way through here.
Destiny rather than choice. Watchmen on the walls of the world. Frequently asked for power, responsibilities, exercise of vision, strength, what we may achieve in our time, and the time of the ancient vision of peace on earth. Righteousness of our cause.
This is pretty cool, guys. Pretty sad. Pretty surreal to actually be here. And I just stepped in mud. Look at that big pile of mud. I just stepped in it because it's getting dark out here. All right, I'm gonna show you an exclusive. The mud on my shoes. Now I'm gonna have to go clean this off in the grassy knoll. That is a Take on the World exclusive. I am cleaning my shoes on the grassy knoll because I had stepped in mud. Guys, I don't know. I'm gonna remember that for a long, long time. Tony's over there getting some good shots.
And I have my doubts on that.
Which, to a lot of flat earthers, is a segue to the shape of the earth.
Yeah, no, I understand.
That
What do
we
you-
have a firmament over the earth, and
Who's
there
talking?
is no getting to space. So,
Who's a flat earther here? Who's writing all this flat
I
earth?
mean,
Well, they have watched the documentaries, they have seen the arguments, and
Look at this.
You know?
What I found on the ground
nice.
is from.
they're all over.
Yeah, I guess there was a whole huge group here, and yeah. So check that out. Those are actual real proofs, and on the back of there, you could actually find out where to go.
Okay.
If you haven't seen, there's some.
Actually, I
you know,
have seen. So
Yeah.
I've watched.
There's quite
Yeah.
a bit.
But like many, why does it really matter? If you already believe in God, why does it matter? When we get to heaven one day,
Right,
we'll
right,
just
right.
ask him and he'll tell us.
That's why I see.
Why does it
things.
matter, Chris?
Why does it matter?
Yeah.
You want to know my opinion? Right
Yeah.
now?
Share your opinion.
Wow.
Why does it matter?
I don't want these guys running off on me, like if I get into one of these rants, right? But so why does it matter? Well, a lot of people say that, do you believe in evolution?
Evolution, no. Creation.
No. Okay, so you're a creationist,
Yes.
young Earth creationist.
Young Earth?
Yeah. So
Yeah, like not millions.
not millions of
Not
years
millions.
old.
However, you got to remember, and I'm going to go back to Genesis.
Yeah.
To God, a day
Is
can
like
be
1,000.
1,000,000 years.
Yeah.
But we know that. So even though
1,000 years.
yeah,
1,000.
1,000 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let's say that it says God created the world in 7 days. According to what most Christians believe, is it 7 days or is it
6 or 7,000 years,
1,000
right?
years?
Yeah.
Because
So either way, you have about
But
a
it's not
6,000-year-old or
billions and millions.
No.
so
Right.
6 or 12,000, roughly, somewhere in that
right.
ballpark. Sure.
That's young compared
Yeah.
to.
Yeah,
So
what science does.
okay, so you believe in the heliocentric model, but you've seen both sides of the argument,
Right, right.
So let's look at the first line of the Bible, right? And then it says, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth," right? Or heavens and the earth.
Right.
So the heliocentric model, the foundational aspect of the heliocentric model, is that the sun must come before the earth, correct?
Right.
Okay, so when was the sun created in the Helios or in the Bible?
model.
In the biblical model, says on day 4. Day
Right.
4. So now we've got the Bible already contradicting the foundations of the heliocentric model, and even to science, if it says if the earth came before the sun, our foundations, our whole model is completely screwed.
Right.
So from that standpoint, science and the Bible are irreconcilable. They are at odds, at war with each other, just on the very opening line of the scriptures.
But yes, and there are parts where they actually science does prove that the Bible exists, or better yet, that even though they say that it doesn't. I mean,
Right.
We
Yeah,
already
yeah,
know
yeah.
that.
Historical evidence.
Right.
Undeniable.
And I've actually got into, but let's go back, because remember, we're talking about the Earth being round and flat and all that. We've all been led to believe that apparently the sun is in the middle and everything rotates around it.
Right.
I watched lots of documentaries where they say that actually the sun is actually traveling like a comet, and all the worlds are just kind of like going in circles around the sun as it's traveling.
Yeah.
As opposed to just a sun that's kind of stuck in the middle and everything goes around it. So you never know. To quote you, it's something that I'm going to ask God when I get there.
Yeah.
I'm not really like, I don't know.
Well, this. So, for example, I take it now. Let's go a little further into Genesis. Genesis 1:14. By the time we get to day 4 of creation, it says He created the great lights inside of the firmament. In the firmament, it says those great lights happen to be the sun, moon, and the stars. Right. And it says He made them for the times, the days, and the seasons. And the Hebrew word for the seasons is actually the Moedim. So the sun, moon, and the stars right up here, they move for the Moedim. What are the Moedim? They are the appointed times, and they are they are moving for an appointed times. What are the appointed times in Scripture? Those are the feast days that Yahweh has set apart throughout Scripture to represent what Jesus has done for us with the death, the burial, the resurrection. So, why we would say, why they said all this is so important, all this is important. So right up there, when we look up there, those were created with a purpose and a plan for the redemption of your soul.
Okay.
So when we change that in a heliocentric model, they say that new constellations are going to come in. They're going to do this, and they say that we're the one moving when we are. The Bible says 200 times that we don't move, and the sun, moon, and stars rotate over 200 times. The Bible says, how many witnesses does it take to establish truth? It says 2.
Right.
We've got about 200 scriptural proofs that support the geocentric model of this earth. So they would say they're hiding God, and which I would believe that. But the fall feast reveals something different. They reveal the second coming of Christ. Right there in the sun, moon, and stars, these have all been planned a perfect timing when Christ is coming.
Right.
Satan is hiding, does not want this world to know that Jesus is coming back for people. That's why this matters so much.
But let me ask you.
The shape is irrelevant.
Right. That's my question. Is that the shape should be irrelevant either way, right? I mean, if we believe that God's coming back for his people, which I strive to be one of them, you know. But the thing is that it wouldn't matter to me if the world was square, flat, round. It doesn't matter, as long as and I am aware that people try to disprove God to begin with.
But it's what His word. It's His word that we're holding to. If His word said X, Y, and Z, are we going to stand on His word or trust the lies of men? So as Bible believers, as both of us are, I encourage people just to say, I trust your word. I trust what you have to say. And what I've been geocentric. My high school teacher taught me that in the 1990s. So I've already known that the earth doesn't move and doesn't spin. I come from Cleveland, Ohio, which is the mecca of geocentricity. There's a website that I encourage you to look at. That's the first place to look. You don't look at flat Earth. Start at the geocentric model, geocentricity.org or .com. You can find all the college professors, Baldwin Wallace, Case Western Reserve, heads of astronomy teaching the geocentric model of this Earth. Over 2 million PDFs and publications they had produced worldwide showing scientifically and biblically that we do not move and we are the center of this universe. So I encourage you to go there first before you look at anything flat Earth-wise. And then at that point, then you'll discover why this matters. And it's only about trusting His word.
No, I understand.
Apologetically. Why we defend, me and you would go to bat against an evolutionist.
Right.
And we would say, no, that is a lie. Because this alters and changes Scripture.
Right.
It's the same thing. That's how we feel about this topic. It's only in defense of His word why we even care about it.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, I've
whether it's this or round or pear-shaped, like Neil deGrasse Tyson will say. He'll say that. Neil deGrasse Tyson will come out and say, well, it's an oblate spheroid. It's not perfectly sphere, but the picture's so perfect sphere.
Like I said, for me, yes, I know that's what we've been taught, and I know there's a lot of things in school that we've been taught that will probably be disproved someday or proven someday. I mean, but the thing is, this is what I've been taught, and do I believe everything? No, of course. Do I believe that there's possibilities that the government is doing this or that? Of course.
Right. I mean, we're in one of the biggest places right now where it's
I agree.
And
that's why I brought them here. They brought them. I want you to see history.
Yes.
I want you to see what history of, and I was showing them film and so on.
Yeah.
But of course, because I do get into a lot of things where I like to find out, hey, is this true or not? That was one of them, the flat Earth theory, and of course, I watched the video on. I think it was National Geographic or something. One of those, or one of those.
Yeah.
Send us a better one.
Yes. So there's so when you have two sides of the coin in the thing, so they're not going to tell you what the truth is.
Right, of course.
Just like on this topic, you've got to dig a little deeper, because if you just watch what's on the History Channel in regards to the JFK assassination,
we're all part of it.
Yeah.
Or if you just go to the History Channel and watch the Big Bang cosmology or evolution basis, or go to our science museum, you're going to have to tell them hey guys, this isn't true. Here's
Right.
where the truth is.
And I've heard also the theories on Big Bang and everything. I've heard both sides. And I've even heard Christians tell me about the Big Bang theory, what they believe, and so on. So I'm just like, is it possible? Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But like, again, going back,
It's
I'll
not,
ask-
and I'll
I'll
keep in
ask
mind,
the
it's
Lord
not
when-
salvational.
We'll
It's
know
not.
one day.
Yeah, and remember,
One day.
salvation comes, as you know,
Of
through
course.
grace, through faith alone. You know, but so many that are astute, when they go off to college, they're going to have a heliocentric thrown down their throat that this is it, where
Right,
it
right.
says that we're insignificant. They will even say this: we're insignificant. We're a speck of dust floating in space that is never ending.
Right.
And they will feel like, what's the point to this
No,
world?
I
And
mean-
and we believe that Yahweh sits right up there above the throne, on top of that firmament, which He created in creation, that has not gone away.
Right.
Because in the Psalms, David talks about the firmament still above,
Correct.
the water still above. In the Scriptures, Revelation still talks about the firmament in a time to come. And we believe that's not so far out. That's right up there. And He sits there and He loves us. He's right there. That's why this topic matters. And it's so important to debunk these lies so that our children know to trust His word and they can be rock solid in His word, even if it sounds crazy.
No, like I said, I'd be a fool to tell you I know for a fact, because I don't. But I will go back to saying, hey, it really doesn't matter to me, because my faith tells me that all that matters to me is my salvation with the Lord.
Yeah.
And that's all I...
And I think that, for most people, that's that starting point. And as we grow deeper in our relationship, He's going to reveal more truths to us as we walk in those. And we can still always be rock solid in that faith. So
What I always say is, I don't care if a person knows the earth is flat, or whatever shape it is, knows it. If they don't love their neighbor as themselves, I would rather them never know that and love their neighbor as themselves and love God first and foremost.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that.
well, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Yes.
So we are Take on the World TV.
Yeah.
We put on a conference in Ohio. So if you're ever from Ohio and you want to come out,
We're from South Texas.
yeah,
We're from McAllen.
Nice.
And we're here for a soccer tournament. Well, they all are. And
we were here for the International Flat Earth Conference. So there you guys have it. Yes.
yeah, we saw that as we were walking by.
So this is Amber Plaster. She's an international internet phenomenon. Millions and millions of. She did an Adele cover, a Flat Earth Adele cover. So if you just Google Amber Plaster, hello, you will see that. This is her husband, Tony Stover, and he is all over her songs as well. And I was a speaker at the Flat Earth Conference. So wow, it's pretty crazy. So
and you guys came out here for the same thing.
yeah, we just came out here, and then I actually found that on the ground, and I just handed it to you. So it was meant to be. So divine appointments. So
Y'all have a good night.
all right, thanks so much. Okay, so
Get out that backpack.
yeah, so what we want to do, we're going to try to do some baseball over here, and so I'm going to have you record this. Riley, all right, it is time.
Get up there.
I already made a hole-in-one
With a rock, you sure did.
If the ball goes in the road, it will roll in the sewer.
Yeah.
Just a heads up.
So what 7-year-old can say that he played baseball with his dad on the Grassy Knoll? Moments to remember.
Ultimate pitcher's mound.
For sure.
The pitcher's knoll.
Hey, can you get some pictures of them? So how cool is that, guys? I tell you what, being at FEIC and just being around all the people there just gets you on fire for sharing truth. So I don't know about you guys, but we're definitely going to be doing more flat smacking, and I don't like the word smacking. We're going to be doing some flat loving when we get back to Ohio. We of course do it with all of our family and friends, but going out and just sharing it with the world, literally. We call our conference Take on the World, and we need to do more of that. Bringing it to the world, to the streets of Cleveland. That's where we're gonna go. That's right. We do feed off one another. Absolutely, Mark. Just.
You can cut it off.
Uh-oh, did you lose it?
Yeah, but you can cut off. My battery's gonna die.
Okay. All right, guys. that is it. We are signing off from the Grassy Knoll in Texas. Take care, guys.